Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah.
How y'all doing, man?
Good, man.
100%.
We have some new faces in the house tonight.
Yeah, man. We all
A
in the
new face in the house tonight. How you doing? How you doing, man?
I am fine, sir.
It's
Happy
been
to
a
jump
while.
in.
It's been a while. I haven't seen you in a minute. I know you sometimes join us on the show in the back in the chat, make your little comment here and there, and then you digs out.
Right.
But it's a pleasure to see your face. And is it too late, or are we still saying Happy New Year?
You read my mind. I was about to say Happy New Year to everyone.
Okay, I'm gonna give you the same greeting I gave to quite a few other people. I hope that this year you find a way to transfer the amount of money you have in your mind from your mind to your banking account.
That's right.
I hope you find a way to do that this year.
I agree. I mean, it starts in the mind. You know, the goal starts in the mind. Then it manifests as you work on it. You know, so
Okay, for me, the number I have, it looks like a phone number.
Okay,
the amount I have in my mind right now looks like a phone number.
You have to aim high, so if you miss, you hit the middle.
Somewhere inside of there. But I'm aiming, I'm going all out with balls deep this year.
Yeah, well, let me see if I'll give you the right arm.
Balls out.
Weapons, huh?
Is it balls deep or balls out?
You got me. I don't know.
Either way, sounds very uncomfortable.
Karin says she wouldn't know. She does not possess any. But from the comments I've been hearing, from the comments I've been reading in terms of Karin's input into the show lately, and I said it, she seemed to have been acting lately like she has some balls. You know, she coming out there, she punching.
I don't have any.
I think it has to do with. I think it's more like her just asserting herself. You know,
asserting herself. Okay.
Yes,
she has found her voice.
As they would say,
she's always
standing firm. You understand?
It was always there.
She's
standing firm, right?
So right now, Mr. One Dread, thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Derek D'Souza. One Dread, one love.
Lucy.
Thank you for gracing us with your presence this evening, Miss Lucy O'Brien. Good night. How things up in the countryside?
Everyone smash the like, share the link. Share the link to a friend. Let them know that the best podcast in the world is on right now. Tell them bring your coffee, bring your stuff. Hit the like button. Start commenting. Get excited. Go tell everybody that Caribbean Feedback is live.
It's live. Tonight we're diving into some information here that I ain't gonna lie, I don't know a lot about it, but we're here to find some answers. We're here to come up with some solutions. We're here to pass whatever information we know on, and hopefully each one can teach one and we learn something here tonight and take it forward. I'm hoping that in the very near future, our esteemed guest, she not a guest, is she?
Who are you talking about? The
one who panelist?
We home girl them and the doctor.
The one who always come in late?
I didn't say that here. You know, sometimes she backstage and she hearing them things. Tonight she will not come on and attack me or hold me responsible for making any derogatory comments. So
just say the word darling. Just say darling. And then she says sweetheart, and then she just melt down, man.
Somehow it sounds better when you say it to her. It doesn't have the same effect.
Darling.
When I utter the words.
And then she says sweetheart, and then she melt down nice. Everybody bubble down like Baji, you know.
So Raymond, what is that in the glass? Water or punching?
That's water. It's not tequila. I like sipping tequila, but that's not tequila. That's H2O, pure.
Okay, no, I hear you go after you drink it. You know, I don't know if it's because it burned the back of the throat or it just quenched the thirst. I don't know.
It didn't burn anything. No.
Okay, so we at that warm-up point. I really hope Dr. Judith joins us shortly. So right now, Natty S, night. Good night to you. Good night to you. Thank you so much for joining us, Sam.
Yeah, man, we're gonna run the thing out.
You know we go. Run the thing.
We're gonna run the thing. All right.
My name is Karin Forrester. I represent Bantu Creations. Bantu Creations offers beautifully made, African-inspired, lightweight, handcrafted, one-of-a-kind earrings in wonderful shapes, shades, sizes, and colors. Please don't be scared of the large sizes. They're extremely lightweight earrings. Bantu Creations can be found on IG and on Facebook as Bantu Creations. That's Bantu Creations with a K.
Come check me out, chriskeys.com. I'm worldwide.
Tony Altamirano.
Hi, I'm Gina.
What's up, everybody? I'm Win Vu, award-winning remixer.
Koya, I'm an artist.
Hi, my name's Justina Bethel.
Hi, I'm Mike Bowen from Denton, Texas.
How you doing? This is Tom Cutt from Music by Tom Cutt. Check out Samuel E. Archer's book, Hybrid Executive. We are in the business, and here's how you can be a better business person because you're running your business.
You can find my music at JustinaBeth_EL on Instagram or JustinaBethel.com, and I am a hybrid executive.
I'm a hybrid executive.
I'm a hybrid executive, just like you.
Follow me at Koya Music, and I'm also a hybrid executive.
I'm worldwide, baby, but just know I'm a hybrid executive. That's all you need to know, baby.
Get on up, B.
Check out my music, MikeBowen.com. I'm a hybrid executive.
I'm a hybrid executive.
And here we are.
Here we are.
And here we are once again.
Yeah.
Tonight, people. Tonight. We're here to discuss cryptocurrency. Okay. Cryptocurrency is a form of digital currency that exists digitally or virtually and uses cryptograph to secure transactions. Cryptocurrency don't have a central issuing or regulating authority, instead using a decentralized system to record transactions and issue new units. By show of hands, how many of you understood what I just said?
That was as clear as mud.
I just didn't have a clue of what it just like was a bunch of words that sounded
Words strung together.
Yeah.
That is the definition of cryptocurrency, but I am not ashamed to say right now that neither do I. I didn't understand any of that stuff. Oh, it's traded on the blockchain and it makes no sense. It might as well you speak Japanese to me. But before we dive into crypto, let's take a trip down memory lane. Let's see where this new digital currency, where it came from and why it is here to stay, because it is indeed the future. Before money as we know it was invented, people exchanged goods and services for goods and services. Fair exchange was made through a system they used to call bartering, or whatever commodity a merchant had, like his merchandise that he brought to the marketplace. They would switch. Give me a piece of pumpkin for a piece of your yam. Fair exchange. But you see today, many of us are very stubborn. We reluctant to change, and we somehow feel quite contented holding on to old ideals. But let's examine for a minute what life would be like if we do not ride this wave and go along with the change that is here and the change that is coming. In several African countries, long time ago within the Mali Empire, cowrie shells were recognized as an important use of payment and used as a symbol of wealth and power. See them here? Cowrie shells. Up until the 20th century, these little things here, you see them, use them and adorn the hair. You see them on jewelry, necklaces. Sometimes I see Karin have on a few. These cowrie shells, at one point in time, the Africans, the Chinese, the Arabs, we have some bigger ones here. This one here might have been like $100 bill. I don't know. They use this as currency. Had my, let's say, 50th great-grandfather buried a stash of this, a large haul of cowrie shells, would I be rich today if I unearthed them? No.
Yeah, you'd be rich.
No, they would be worthless, not to be used as currency. At one time in this country, before it became the United States of America, there was a different dollar bill from the one that we have grown accustomed to in our lifetime. It's labeled the Confederate States of America. See it here. I have a $2 bill. But no one in this present day America would be willing to trade goods or services for a handful of these.
It's a collector's item. Collector's item.
Right? At one time we used gold. And some geniuses decide to keep all the gold and give us the receipt. If you look at some of the old bills, it would say, pay to the bearer upon demand $1 worth of silver or how much ever worth of gold. This was nothing but a receipt. But then the government decided, you know what? We're going to keep the gold and give them a piece of paper with a dead man face on it. And this today is worth whatever we say it's worth. And then you can be able to trade it on the marketplace and get something of equal or lesser value for that piece of paper.
Yeah, man.
So people, answer me something. You all believe in this whole cryptocurrency thing? What happened? I tell you all how I feel. I think it's here to stay. Digital currency is the new wave. It's going to take over. It's the changing of the guard, the changing of the time. And we sitting back here, chilling. Yeah, that is them people thing. Let them do that. What do you think would happen to us as a people, as a nation, as a race, if we do not get involved now? Karin, let me hear your thoughts on this.
I think we'll be left behind. At this time, you don't need to identify yourself. You know, you can open an account with cryptocurrency, and I know. Raymond, do you prefer Raymond or Reggie? Because I know we call you both.
You know, you could call me anyone. I mean, people that know me from the Caribbean, from a long time, everybody calls me Reggie. Raymond is my American name.
Let me ask you. What did I ask you?
Reggie, that's cool. Yeah.
Okay. Now I know Reggie's gonna go into detail, but from what I understand, that you don't need to identify yourself at this point to open an account. The government can't really track you or hold you accountable for anything at this time. So there's a certain, although your records are public, there's a certain level of anonymity that is still there. The government can't really interfere at this point. So that to me is the real allure, to be able to build your wealth without Uncle Sam or Uncle whomever, depending on which country you're in, being in your business. That is the real allure right now. And I think that will change. Somehow, governments are going to find a way to interfere with this exchange, which is currently like a private type transaction.
Well, I think it's the changing of the guard. And what happens with change is just that we concede a little bit faster because of, we have an information highway, we have all the social media platforms, we have things going digital, emails, and all of that. So it's a little bit faster to catch on certain things. But I remember when, in the music industry, when we used 2-inch reel-to-reel, and when CDs was becoming the thing of the master, and then The experienced engineers did not believe in the CDs. They did not. It's like, no, don't put this stuff on CDs. We had a way we would create a master with a what we call like a 1/4-inch tape, and we would use tones and things like that. And then that's what we would send to get the records made and the CDs made and the cassettes. Then I lived to see where the CD became the master, when it was okay. The companies that manufacture the product now send a CD, because before we sent a DAT, a DAT tape, they call it a digital audio tape. That's what we would send to get our stuff manufactured. And then it became the CD. And then now you just upload your stuff in WAV files to get this stuff made now. And in fact, nobody's really making CDs anymore. You just go, you upload your album up, you upload your picture, and now you can start streaming on Apple and Spotify and all of that. I think the same thing is happening here. You know, Facebook changed their name to Meta. You have all these virtual little places coming up, and crypto is pretty much going to lead the way into how we spend money in the future, where it's going to be you're living in the real world and you can't do nothing. You have to go online and go in the virtual aspect and survive in there. Maybe you have to, you know, maybe you'll be eating digital food. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work. You know, maybe the beam me up Scotty thing from Star Trek is going to come into place. I don't know if they have that technology yet, but this is another level of as to where things are right now. We're actually on the internet right now. And I believe there'll be an internet 2 and an internet 3 and, you know, channels of internets where, you know, it's just going to start getting ridiculous after a while. But we have to look at what's happening, look at the different changes, and this is where it's going. So we have to start getting at least some sort of a handle on what it is, where it's going, how they're explaining it, what's the dynamics, how it works. So you know, we could be in the mix when they change gears.
Mr. Richardson.
Asleep?
Yes, sir. All right. Well, you know, so far you guys have touched on a lot of the areas that I was, you know, I had some notes on and was going to talk about.
Still talk about it, man.
Still talk on it, because we you know, we tool from the finger in here. You have to look at I think a good starting point is the evolution of money, right? And Curtis mentioned some of the things about the evolution of money. We all know that money is a medium of exchange, right? It represents value, right? And the reason why it represents value is because we assign value to it. If we didn't do that, it won't have any value. So if you go back to not long ago, say any time prior to 1971, the United States dollar was pegged to gold. So the Federal Reserve could not print more money than we had gold to support that money, right? Then Richard Nixon came into power and he said, you know what? We got to change this system. We got to go to what's called fiat currency. And say, what is fiat currency? Well, fiat currency is what we have today. The dollars we print, those dollars are supported or backed by the full faith and credit of the U.S. government. The government said, listen, if we could print as many dollars as we think the economy could support, right? And we all know that, you know, money is really a debt instrument, because the genesis of money is debt, you know, and so at some point you have to figure out, well, what is this thing worth? And how best could we use it to conduct economic activity, i.e., you know, take a transaction from point A to B
terminate the transaction, and start again. So if you look at cryptocurrency, all it's really doing is just replacing fiat currency, right, in a more efficient manner, right? You don't have to, and it's because it's divisible, right? You could spread it out. It's transportable digitally. You could have a digital wallet. You don't need dollar bills in your pocket, right? And there's also anonymity, right? Now, the anonymity piece, this is not going to last forever because the governments are actively, the regulatory agencies, as a matter of fact, last month, we met with the Senate Finance Committees and so on. They're actively writing regulations for cryptocurrency as we speak.
Wow.
It's just a matter of time before the government says, this is what you have to do. Okay? This is the track to run on. The Federal Trade Commission was there, the Security and Exchange Commission is there, and they're trying to lock down the definition and set the rules because there are billions of dollars here, trillions of dollars here to be made. It's not something small, and it is here to stay. It ain't going any place. So, there was a time when if you wanted to make an appointment or you wanted to buy something, you had to appear in person, fill out a form. These days, you go on the internet, click, 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 you do it, right? So, just like we have evolved in terms of the way we buy things, right? I mean, these days you can actually go on the computer and talk to the doctor. I've done that several times. I had a little medical issue, went to the doctor once or twice in person, and every other time I'll have this telemed business going on, right? So we have to adapt to the technology, okay? And there's no way there's no way to there'll be no way to exclude it from your life. You're gonna have to do this sooner or later. There are about 8,000 merchants on the blockchain globally that accepts crypto as payment. And that number
before we go too far ahead on this one, one of the things I don't want us to call words and sort of leave people hanging. When I hear the term blockchain, I'm thinking of some rappers back in the 80s with some big blockchain around the neck. What on God's green earth is a blockchain? What is that?
A blockchain is basically it's a digital record. It's an encrypted digital ledger, okay, that supports the Bitcoin. Like, for example, I'm going to read the notes here because I don't want to stray too far, right? When you heard of mining, right? Bitcoin mining.
Yes, I've heard it too. Right? Yes.
And the first time I heard that, I didn't know what the hell they were talking about because I didn't know you could mine something on a computer. In my simplistic head, mining was when you go out there digging for gold or cobalt or so. I said, what the hell are you talking about?
Okay. 2 miles under the earth, yes.
Right. So mining, right? Mining is performed by a very sophisticated computer process, right? Now, the miners, they're mostly companies, not individuals, because it's very expensive to do cryptocurrency mining or Bitcoin mining, right? And basically, the computer geniuses are given a very complex computational problem to solve, okay? The first set of miners that solved the problem, they're assigned a block. right? A block of transactional data. That data block is subsequently encrypted, and depending on the size of the data block, bitcoins are then created. X number of bitcoins then created. Okay. Now, once the block is created, it cannot change. Hence, it's encrypted. Hence the word crypto. It's encrypted. It doesn't change. It cannot change. You don't know what the code is. Okay. And the only machines that can read the code is the network of computers that code is actually embedded in. Does that make sense? I don't know. I
understand that to some level.
That makes sense. I don't sound as a computer man, but you see the drift?
Yep.
That's where the whole blockchain, mining and blockchain go together.
Is this system hacker proof though?
Right now it is, yeah. Yes. According to the people who do this thing, yes. The encryption is so it's so complex that it's exceedingly difficult to break it. You know?
But here's something I do not understand.
Okay.
How is it we are encouraged to buy into this new system of handling money and handling transactions that it's about to revolutionize the world as we know it, right? But yet still you have to buy into it with the very same currency that is about to become obsolete.
So I don't think currency is going to become obsolete. It's just going to, it's really, what it really comes down to, it's a more efficient payment system, right? Especially when you're doing B2B transactions. It's much more efficient because you're eliminating the third party, eliminating the bank, right? I mean, you have to think of cryptocurrency, right, as an alternative to the traditional banking system. That's what you got to think of it as. It's a payment methodology. All right, it's a digital asset stored on a digital ledger, encrypted on a blockchain. It's not. People say it's a currency. I think that the better understanding is a payment system, right? That's encoded as a digital asset that's used for payment.
It almost sounds like, when we were doing the imperial system and we were going to metric, because the imperial system had holes in it, where if one person's foot was less than 12 inches, but it was still a foot, and
right.
you could alter certain things. So there were some holes in the imperial system, and then we said, all right, when we go to the metric system, it is a lot more efficient. It's more accurate. So this seems like it's more like a transitional thing where we'll be still using the fiat system, but it will be there'll be a transitioning period where you use it interchangeably.
You're not going to just eliminate the fiat system like that. They're not going to do that.
Right,
as a matter of fact, the Federal Reserve is already they're coming out with what's called a safe coin. Yes, they're working on it as we speak. Yes.
A safe coin?
Yes.
Does anyone know here how many forms of crypto are there? We have Bitcoin, we have Dogecoin, and we have a whole bunch of what they call we have a whole bunch of what they call in shit coins that ain't worth anything.
Yeah, well,
that's going to collapse.
How
many types of coins are there?
There are too many to mention, but there are like four that you have Bitcoin, and the other one is called, I have to spell it. It's called Ethereum.
Ethereum.
Ethereum. Ethereum. Yeah, I put your tongue between your teeth. They're like they used to say in school. Ethereum.
Like you eating curry goat?
Yeah, that one always escapes me. But But it's Bitcoin and Ethereum. There's others like XRP, and there's another one.
Dogecoin.
There is BCH, and there's a whole lot of others. You know.
Somebody said thousands. There are
too many. There are too many. They're actually too many. But you know, a lot of them are insignificant. You know.
And you know, let me just jump this in here. Remember when there was a .com craze? Before we
right.
got hip
I'm going to jump. You know, we could talk about the investing part of you know, also, but you got a basic understanding of what this digital asset is, right? Or is that or no?
No, I'm with you. I mean, I don't know, Curtis and Karin, you all kind of.
I understand that it's a situation where, as you said, it's digital. It's a series of letters and numbers instead of as if the physical funds, letters and numbers used digitally.
Zeros and ones,
it can still be tracked. It is public, but it's under your control, and that is the most appealing thing, I think, for most people. At this time, when that will change, I don't know.
The way I see it, where I think it's going, I remember the days I've seen this happen. I've gone into the bank as a child, and I saw an old lady come into the bank, and she handed that bank book, and she said, "I want to withdraw all my money." It was the ending of the month. And somehow in her mind, her $62.37 was sitting in a drawer in the back of the bank with her name on it. So she wanted to withdraw her money to make sure that the bank had her money there. So the teller brought the money out for her. She counted it, and she said, "Thank you. Now can you kindly put it back for me, please?" In her mind, the bank kept her money separate from everyone else's money. So that system went out the door. We no longer use a bank book to keep those transactions. They now give you a card. You worked on the job, as opposed to giving you that currency at the ending of the week. They said, no, we're going to do, how they call the thing, the transfer?
Direct deposit,
Direct deposit. In the beginning, many people didn't trust that. Because as soon as they say, well, hold on, how do I know that you put the money in there? It's 4 o'clock Friday evening. When I leave here, you close your shop. They say, go on, don't worry, it's there. And then they had to reassure the worker that it was there. So from 2 in the evening, they would have to put that digital money, which is nothing but a bunch of numbers, because you're not seeing the cash, onto your bank account. And now you say, okay, all right, after a while, we began to trust that system, direct deposit. And we moved away from receiving a physical, we moved away from receiving the cash, we moved away from receiving the check, we went into the transfer of the funds. Now they're talking about a cashless society, where we will move away from that fiat system of handling that paper money, which eventually will become worthless at a point in time, once the powers that be say so.
We pretty much are in a cashless state now, because look, you could not find me with more than $100 in my pocket, regardless of the day of the month, time of the day, week, or whatever, because I don't use it. You know, anything for say $25 or more, I would stick to my ATM card in the machine. That's it. You know, and I've been doing that now for a very long time. So long that, like I said, you would not find me with more than $100 in my pocket. Period.
And you know what I also noticed? What I also noticed is that there was a time when you needed to make a certain amount of, like, you'd have to purchase a certain amount to use your card. Now they don't really say, well, you need to spend $15 to use your card, or you need to spend $10.
That's because the fees were the processing fees.
Right, that's going out the window now. They cut out all of that now. So everything you just using your card. If it's 50 cents, if it's $2, if it's $5,
because the processing fees were too high. But that's what happened. The payment processors, you know.
But there's a certain level of discipline that if you don't have it, if you don't track, you know, all your transactions, and you just keep on flicking that card,
swiping that card,
you know, it just poof.
They've made it so easier now. You don't even have to swipe it. You just touch the card. You just
Yeah, you're
and you're
tapping
gone.
on
Keep track of that. You can get treated very easily.
Well, listen, as a responsible adult, you should have a very good idea as to how much money you got in your checking account. You got to know.
There was the check, correct.
So I asked the question again. How many of you all still have faith that this dollar, this physical, tangible dollar, will remain in place after digital currency gets a foothold on the economy, on the world? What happens to the dollar then?
It's worthless. It becomes not worthless. It becomes a collector's item.
Collector's item.
Yeah. It's not the dollar itself, it's what it represents. It's not the piece of paper.
True.
It's what it represents. I mean, it's just legal tender. So you could swap the legal tender, make it digital. It's no different. It ends up in your bank account anyway.
Can you explain about the digital wallet? That is a concept I think that a lot of people have a problem with. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, all right. The digital, okay. I'll give you. I was talking to Sam earlier today, and I mentioned it to him. There's a platform. It's a company actually. It's called Coinbase. Have you ever heard of them? Coinbase.
Yes.
Okay. Coinbase is a platform that offers, services to anyone who wants to establish a digital wallet and put in that wallet whatever the cryptocurrency of their choice.
Okay.
Right? So it is the digital wallet is nothing more than it's an encryption that's safeguarded with a password that you and only you know, right? That gives you and only you access to the information encrypted in that quote unquote digital wallet or in that block of information that's on this larger platform that Coinbase and there's some others have. I mean, does that make sense? That's basically what that is. So, like for example, right? And I wrote this down here because for example, Bitcoin closed one Bitcoin, right? It closed today at 44,257. Okay, so let's say you think that Bitcoin is going to continue to go. And by the way, the Bitcoin history is an extremely volatile history. Okay, and let me just caution you: if you're going to put money directly into any cryptocurrency, whether it's Dogecoin or XRP, any of the hot ones, you gotta be prepared for a rough ride because these things. The opinions shift every day. Institutions say one thing, somebody else says something else. JP Morgan Chase comes out and they say, well, we don't like the way the regulations are going on Bitcoin and blah blah, and we are not going to have as much. We're not going to put as much of this stuff on our balance sheet, and then tomorrow they change. So. The market goes boop, boop, up and down, and you're talking sometimes 10-20% moves, okay? If you're going to put money if you're going to go on Coinbase or any other platform, establish a digital wallet, put some money in there, you got to know that you're taking risk, okay? You could lose money doing this very easily, all right?
But let me ask you something, Raymond.
A minimal amount of money, and you got to look longer term. Don't try to say, well, I could get rich with this thing. It's not an overnight thing.
From what I've been hearing, I think investing in cryptocurrency is oversimplified from the way some people put it. The way some of these experts try to make it seem is that, you could simply log onto your computer and buy, and by the next weekend, you're rich.
Yeah, well,
beyond your wildest dreams. I invested 500, I made 1,500. Could you kindly break down this process for me? Because, like I said, I have people hitting me up on Instagram, hitting me up on Facebook. Oh, I mine crypto. I invest in crypto. I invested 500. I got 1,500 back until I decided to engage. Let me tell this little story here. I decided to engage. This is someone I know. Blasting everybody. Oh, yes. I put up 500 and I got 1,500 back. I asked him, I said, that's it? He said, yeah. I said, now hold on. If you invested 500 and got back $1,500, basically over 2 days. I said, no, okay, common sense would tell you, keep your 500, right? And invest another 1,000, which means you should get back, what, 3,000. Out of that, you invest another 1,000 and you get back, and I broke it down and I added it up for him and show him how quickly he can make $200,000 based on the stats that he's giving me.
Yeah, but Curtis,
he disappeared.
It keeps on going up.
Yeah, but he disappeared because if this is working that great for you, you tell me you did it once and you stop?
No, listen, but here's where people conflate, right? I mean, speculation is a form of investing, right? But it happens to be an extremely risky form of investing. Most people, the ordinary Joe, whomever, whatever you term you use, that's jumping in and out, putting money on these on cryptocurrencies, right? They're just really small time speculators looking to make a quick hit. You put $500 in, you bought XRP. It was whatever. It was say 35 cents a coin, and now it's 83 cents a coin, or whatever the deal is, right? So you sell it to make some fast money. Look, I'll give you a little. I went to St. Vincent last November, early November, to attend my aunt's funeral. And I ran into a couple of old friends and stuff and some local folks. Every single person I ran into, drinking a beer with them, just chit-chatting. All they're talking about is Bitcoin. Crypto, right? And I'm saying to myself, none of these people understand what they're talking about, at least. Basically they really don't know what they're talking about. They're just following like a lemming, following whatever information that somebody told them on Facebook or whatever. A lot of them losing money, and they say, well, hey, Reggie, how come I lost money? But what's his name made a whole lot of money. I said, well, he bought low and sold high, and you did the reverse. I mean, it's you gotta be very careful with this stuff, okay? Getting back to what Karin asked me a question, so for example, like I said, Bitcoin is about 44,257. That's one coin. You could buy fractional shares, if you will, of that. You don't need 44,000. To invest in Bitcoin, right? You could buy a fractional share that, and as it goes up or down, you would make or lose money accordingly. And you could do that on several platforms. Now, a very popular one is one called Robinhood. I'm sure you heard of this Robinhood platform, right? A lot of people have it. Even my haircut lady got Robinhood. I was there last week. She said, hey, dude, guess what? She pulled out her phone. I'm on Robinhood, and she showed me. She said, "You think I should sell?" I said, "Whatever." Everybody got this thing going on, so I mean, it's very easy to participate. All I could tell is that you should be cautious and understand that the volatility on this on cryptos is very high. I mean, the stocks pale by comparison. If you run a parallel, a correlation between what crypto is doing versus say a stock index, man, the delta is like you could drive a Mack truck through the delta there. You know what I mean? So you gotta be careful.
Can I just add something? I'm hoping that people understand. Like you talked about the digital wallet, and I love that explanation. But what people don't realize is that if they forget their password, and that this is when Curtis was talking about the old lady going to the bank and wanting to physically see her funds. If you forget your password or a recovery phrase that you assigned to your account, it's all over. It's all gone.
Yes. And,
That is just crazy.
And I said this, I'm not here to promote Coinbase, right? And let me just make a disclaimer that I'm an investor in Coinbase. I bought the stock a long time ago. Okay. If you go on Coinbase.com, okay, they have a very good walkthrough. You know, it's a little, you know, it's illustrated so that everybody could get it. And they break it down and explain it as well as I've seen it explained anyway. I mentioned it to Sam before. I personally think that Coinbase is, you know, they have the best platform for establishing this digital wallet and all that kind of stuff, right? I mean, I see these days you could actually establish an IRA, an individual retirement account, and put all your contribution into various cryptocurrencies. And hopefully, you know, the money, you make money in the long term, and when you time to retire, it's nice and fat and you're all good. You know, I'm all for diversification. I recommend people do that, but you gotta be cautious because cryptocurrency is not a get rich quick scheme. It's not. I mean, and again, I know, listen, if you had bought there's this one called XRP, and you can look it up, right? Today it closed at 85 cents. I remember I was in a meeting with some guys, I know it was a while back. And this thing was about, I don't want to exaggerate, it was under like 11 cents or something, you know? So if you had put some money into this XRP coin sometime, whenever that was, when I saw those people, and you held it and sold it today, you know, that was about what, 800% hit increase, yeah, you know, and you shouldn't feel bad. Listen, the first time I heard about this Bitcoin digital currency thing, we took a client out to dinner and drinks, and he was telling me, he says, you know, Raymond, man, I'm in this Bitcoin thing and da 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 da. A guy from Texas, and I'm saying, well, what is he talking about? Because I am thinking, you know, I was trained to think in terms of valuation, right? Could I figure out what's the valuation of this thing? How does it work? Because he didn't make any sense to me. And he was throwing out all this stuff. He said, well, it's a blockchain, it's a data this, da 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 da. And the more you drink, the more you talk about it. And it kind of went through this A and came out the other, because I didn't know. I don't know exactly what, I couldn't pin it down. It was so, you know, it's very sort of abstract stuff, you know. It didn't kind of, well, you know what Bitcoin was back then? This is like 5 years ago. It was like $1,500. Bitcoin went as high as $60,000 for one coin.
Similar story. I have a similar story.
Hypothetically, if I had put, you know, in between 5 years ago and when it hit 60,000, you know, you had one of these, you know, and you had a lot of panic in between, you know. So that sort of paints the picture for you, right? You gotta, it's one of those things. You don't put all the eggs in one basket. I'm not saying don't put money in there, but please do yourself a favor. Don't put all, you know, don't try to use it as a way to make fast money, because it may disappoint you.
A colleague of mine introduced me to Bitcoin some years ago, and he said, he pointed to he had the Bitcoin symbol, a sticker on his countertop. He said, "Are you familiar with this?" And he walked away. And I looked at it. I said, "What is that?" He said, "Oh, that's this thing with these college kids are using." I said, "Man, I have no time for another social media platform. I put in enough time, waste enough time on Facebook and Instagram. I have no time for another social media platform." He said, no, it's not social media. It's something with these kids. And once again, when he started to explain it, I heard blah, 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 blah. Nothing made sense. But I did hear money and college kids using it as currency. That's all I could remember. And he was urging me to look into it and invest in it. Had I put $1,000 into Bitcoin at that point in time, that $1,000 would have exceeded $50,000 or $60,000 today. Had I put $1,000 in back then.
Yeah,
Which
it
he
would have been
did.
Today it would have been about $44,257.
He did. So what it is I'm saying to you right now, he's just a little hush hush. I mean, he's not going to talk his business, but I know he put a little something inside of there from way back.
One of my oldest college friends, a fellow Jamaican, by the way, Loyston, he called me up. Not long after I'd spoken to this guy, the guy I mentioned, the client we took out to dinner or whatever. And he said, Roots, I got something for you, man. I said, what do you got? He said, dude, we pulling money together to buy it. He had a group of people that was pooling their money to invest in this Bitcoin, right? But I don't like to invest in something I don't understand. And I didn't understand what he was talking about. And at the time, I didn't kind of take the time out to pay enough attention to it. And again, it was, I think by then it was somewhere under $2,000. I don't know if it was $2,500 or something. It was a low number. And I could have easily said, hey, here's $5,000, let's run. But it went through here and came out the other end. But I got some money in Coinbase, the company. It's not for the faint of heart because it does fluctuate because their entire business, they charge you a fee to transact, to do the cryptocurrency transactions fee. Because let's say you want to cash out, they would cash you out and send that money wherever you want to send it, to your bank, to pay somebody, whatever.
What a fee is like. You said they charge you a transaction fee. What
they charge a transaction fee. It's a modest fee. It's like, I think it's like 2% or something like that. I think it's like 2%. They have a scale. I don't because I don't have any money invested directly in say Bitcoin. I got money invested in companies who mine the coin, and like I said, Coinbase that provides the service for people to establish digital wallets and all that. So I'm on the periphery. I mean, I just
well, what I was going to throw in the pot is that when you open up your Cash App now, or you have your PayPal or these online pay platforms, they have the option now for cryptocurrency on there, your Bitcoin or your what have you. It's an option that you can actually go into and send or receive money. So
right.
This is something that we all at some point would have to really put the car in neutral and really understand what's going, what this thing, how it works. Some point we have to do that.
There's an interface, right? There's an interface between, say, Coinbase, PayPal, and these people that would allow you to use your monies, from that digital wallet and make those B2B payments. That's a great example of getting out, bypassing the middleman, because you're not going through a bank. You're making a direct payment between you and whomever is on the other side of that PayPal transaction.
But Raymond,
yeah,
I understand that, but we're talking about pennies here. I hear experts claiming that one could start with as little as $5. How is it possible for us to catch up to those folks who have already invested thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars in some cases? Because putting $5, you're definitely not going to own a Bitcoin.
No.
By investing $5.
I don't know what experts you listen to. I wouldn't listen to anybody talking about $5. I mean, that's an insignificant amount of money. I mean, that's pipe dreaming. I wouldn't do that now. I mean, seriously. I mean, all due respect, whoever says $5, he just lost me. You obviously you want to start with what you could afford to allocate to something like this vis-a-vis the risk.
$5. That's what it is. That's what they say. Start where you are and add to it as you can as you go
I'll
along.
not verify that because I don't think that low. In all honesty, I don't. I mean, I think that's crazy. I won't do that now. You know, like I tell folks, I said, look, if you want to put $1,000 into one of these the cryptocurrency of your choice, you know, test it out, give it a couple of months, see what happens, you know, go right ahead, do it, you know. Or $500, I mean, below that number, I don't. I mean, you know, you're looking to make real money, not sort of, you know, it's not like a school project, you know.
But for the faint of heart, though, I am proud to say that ever since I've invested in Bitcoins, I haven't lost any money. But truth be told, I haven't made any money either. Because not understanding this thing just to see what it's about, I decided, you know what? Let me listen to these ones who say you could just throw $5 in the air. So I decided I got up on one day and I put $100 onto Bitcoin just to test it out and see what would happen to that $100. Right. And that $100 has been floating for well over 6 months now. It's just gain a bit, and within a week it lose a bit, and it gain and it lose, and it gain and it lose, and it's just staying right around. Actually, that $100 went up to about 190 something. And then the other day when everything hit the fan, it dropped right back down to $80-something, and then it's about $120-some again.
I think so, it sounds like you're into what's called an EFT, an exchange traded fund that buys cryptocurrency. So you're buying fractional pieces, you know, of a larger block, a larger portfolio. What's the name of it? That's the only way you could facilitate that.
That's one of the same things from listed on Cash App there. I think that's part of Coinbase, I believe. I'm not even quite sure.
It's probably called an EFT, an exchange traded fund. And they in turn take your money and buy cryptocurrency. It's kind of like a mutual fund. Actually, it is a type of a mutual fund. I think that's what you have there. Yeah.
And even though if it's volatile, could that be like a safe way to test the crypto market, like how Curtis did it?
Yeah, it's about that's about as safe as you get. And if it is in fact an EFT, and I think I'm pretty sure that's what it is, you should reinvest. If there's an option to reinvest whatever gains you make, you should take that option, because then you'd compound the money that way.
Yeah, I don't take it out. It's like I say, pennies, 20-some, $30-some. So yeah, it just stays from the 100.
But is there an option to reinvest? Is there a reinvestment option?
The money stays there. If you start with 100, let's say you had 135, the 135 is what stays there and being reinvested at 135. It's not like you take out the 35.
Here's what I'm saying. No, is it okay? Let's say you put $100 in, right? You with me?
Yeah.
And it, you know, the asset value goes up to whatever number, like whatever, 150. Usually, the EFT would have some sort of they'll have a scheduled distribution, like, okay, every quarter, every 6 months or whatever, they'll have a distribution. Okay, well, you know, you start at 100 now, your shares are worth 150. So what do you want to do with this 50? You want to purchase some more of the EFT? So now you own a little bigger piece. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you have the incremental sort of
right. So that's what, yeah, because I think what Curtis thinking that when he leaves it in the wallet there, that it's sort of like it's reinvesting. But what Reggie is saying is that there'll be an option to that, whatever that you made in that cycle, you can take that now and reinvest it in.
And by additional units or however they calibrate it.
Right.
I mean, that's typically how a collective situation works with, say, an exchange traded fund or any sort of mutual fund. They usually have an option to reinvest, because someone is managing the portfolio, the overarching portfolio, right? That's investing your money, Karen's money, Sam's money, my money, whomever put in there. You follow? So if Sam puts $5,000 in and you put in 1,000, Sam is going to own a bigger piece of the fund than you do, right? And Sam would get his distribution. He say, buy me some more units. So now Sam goes from owning, say, 50 units to, I don't know, 55 units. And you go from owning 10 units to, say, 11 units. You see what I'm saying? And his distribution.
So if it goes up or goes down, at least you compound your value.
Right, because when you reinvest, right, you're not going to be reinvesting at the same price, at the same unit value all the time. It's going to be different. So it averages out. And typically what happens over time is that your cost basis or your average cost per unit is like down here, and the current market price for the units are up here. You see what I'm saying?
That unit that you speak about, that's where they took the name from. The Satoshi is the smallest unit of cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, which is named after Satoshi Nakamoto, the founder of the protocol used in blockchain. Right? The Satoshi is a little scraping. I mean, the ratio is like 100 million Satoshis to 1 Bitcoin. So those small units that you speak about, that's what they call a Satoshi.
Yeah, it's going to be a de minimis number there because you're dealing with an asset base that's worth like right now $44,000. See what I'm saying? So if you put in $500, I mean it's a small fraction of that 44,000. You know what I'm saying? If you do the reciprocal, the inverse, it's a tiny number. Yeah.
But here's something I know that's on everybody's mind. I mean, it's on my mind. I'm pretty sure it's on everybody else's mind. How could I turn 1 Bitcoin into 100 Bitcoins?
Again, I mean, you have to go. Listen. Investing is a process whereby you have to go through hell to get to heaven. You know, so if you can't stand the fire in hell, you probably gotta be on the sidelines. I mean, you it's a process. You gotta keep investing and doing it over a long period of time. You know, there's no simple sort of snap of the finger way to do it. You know, crypto should just be part of what you invest in. It shouldn't be the whole thing. That would be an exercise in it would be the wrong way to go. You don't want to do that.
Okay, so you're saying
I couldn't tell friends that or anybody. I couldn't tell enemies that. I don't have any, but I couldn't tell anybody that. No.
But I'm going to tell you right now. I'm on a mission to understand the ins and outs of this cryptocurrency thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on a mission. I'm reading. Henceforth, we're doing this show, hoping to gain some knowledge, gain a deeper understanding into this whole thing, because I personally don't believe it's going anywhere. I don't believe it's going anywhere. Too many people are talking about it right now. It's all over the news. Countries like Honduras are talking about replacing the entire current monetary system with Bitcoin.
El Salvador did that, you know. You see, El Salvador did that. You see, look, adaptability, right, is going to lead to more demand, but you also need a track to run on. That's where the regulatory agencies come in.
So that was my question. Thing. Talk to me. I want to say me. I'm talking for the ones out there that don't know. Help me. Where do I begin?
When those two things are in alignment, right? Crypto is going to become much more universal because you'll have more stability. Like, for example, El Salvador, right? If you're remitting money to El Salvador, you could do it purely with cryptocurrency. But here's the problem, and the reason why the government decided there's an enormous amount of fees involved if you're sending money via Western Union or MoneyGram. I'm sure you've done this, send money to your relatives in the Caribbean using MoneyGram or Western Union. There's a fee involved.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you, right? I mean, it's like Western Union is expensive. Western Union charges you $15 to send $100, right? Now, a country like El Salvador, their economy, I mean, they rely heavily on remittances because they're getting billions of dollars from the United States, you know, where what's it called? What's the word, Sam? Diaspora. Oh boy, they're sending back all this money to the relatives, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the government said, man, the fees are killing us, so they switch to crypto. But here's the problem they have now. We started off by saying it's a store of value, right? Digital asset store of value, fiat currency store of value, right? Now, if crypto goes from 44,257 to 34,257, you see what happens to the transfer in terms of store of value from the government's perspective? That's the risk. You with me? That's the risk. That's the risk. So they need to mitigate that risk, and to do it, you have to have better regulation, right? And more demand. Adaptability is it's not a synonym for demand in this sense. More people using it. So the more demand for the currency, you know, the more stable it's going to be.
So we're in the stage of the growing pains right now.
Correct. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. We didn't hit the maturity stage yet at a growth cycle. We're still climbing.
Can you make a distinction between Bitcoins, which only a few of them are coins, difficult to make, tokens, and NFTs? I think those terms are somewhat foreign to most people.
NFT is a whole different game. NFT is called a non-fungible token.
Mm-hmm.
And what it means is that you can't change it. If something is non-fungible, you can't change it. So you could assign value to there's a way to encrypt a painting, for example, as a non-fungible token, right? And there's some sort of arbitrary way of assigning value to it. I am not that versed with this non-fungible token situation. I know it's a little bit out there, but that's really not a crypto. I don't know if it's considered a cryptocurrency.
It is considered a cryptocurrency token, but it's interesting that in the news that you keep on hearing about how people are using it to pay for art because it's a type of certificate of ownership per se, right? But it's difficult to sort of wrap your head around, as you said. How did they come up with the amounts that you hear them talk about?
I am not sure how they assign the value of this non-fungible token thing. I know. I think the rapper Eminem, he paid somewhere north of $3 million for a painting to me. Look like something that Sam would do in his spare time. It's like a cartoon card. Looks like a monkey. And so, no, seriously, Eminem paid like $3 million, and he
the Bored Ape. The Bored Ape.
And
I think that's what it's called, the Bored Ape. It's an ape that looks like he's just bored. And they have him dressed in all different kind of outfits and whatever.
Right. And that was a non-fungible token that he used to purchase this thing. It was like, how much money was it?
Not quite. But part of the other thing we're not seeing here.
My son just told us $452,000 for this non-fungible token or whatever.
The thing is, there's a lot of tax incentives that go when you buy art and stuff like that. So a lot of people are putting their money into these things, and some people just thinking, oh, you know what, I could go and do some scratch and sell it for $1 million, and it doesn't quite work like that.
Yeah, like I said, I am not versed on the non-fungible token thing. I know it exists, and I think the values are absurd. I don't know how the hell they do that, but you know, it's something I may look into.
Well, when I this was about probably a year and a half ago when they started talking about NFTs. How it benefited the artists is in the aspect of changing hands, because if you have a painting, if you're an artist and you sell this painting and it's sold, that's that's it. You don't gain anything from it after. So in the digital aspect of it, the NFT allows you to put like a thumbprint on the digital whatever it is. So every time it changes hands, the artist gets some form of benefit every time it sells. So it's something, if it keeps selling in the future,
almost like a royalty situation.
It's somewhat like a royalty or like a added stream of income in a sense. So now that depends on if it's selling, if it continues. So if you invest in it, now you're putting a certain value, and it's because it's non-fungible, you can't change it. I guess the value sticks. At that point to it.
It allows for transferability. Yeah, I mean it's basic. If you go back to the definition of money, you sort of check in the same boxes.
Yeah.
You could quantify it, right? And you could transfer it. You see what I'm saying? If you say it's 500,000, this thing that M&M paid, maybe, I don't know, a year from now, somebody else would say, hey, Em, I'll buy that NFT from you / painting for 600,000, and he could transfer that NFT to whomever. Right?
But you see how we're actually using. Look how the conversation is using the internet, where we're not even talking about the internet anymore. But the conversation is based on the fact that we can come into the virtual world and do these things, which hence why we have to talk about this topic tonight, because this is where it's going. You see, it's sort of like, okay, everything is from on a virtual base, and then so this is the stuff we have to keep up with, and this is what we have to understand. So yeah, it's some of the artists are also attaching their albums to it. So it's not just about a painting now or art, but now you could also attach music files to it, because now the music could be in a WAV format, it's in a digital format. So now it's the art and the music, and I'm very, very sure, some form of book. So maybe someone might say, all right, I have this book, and then they can make the cover of the book an NFT, or they can make a certain page in the book an NFT, or some sort of a unique thing about that book would be an NFT, and then now that's selling as an item in perpetuity. So this is, all I guess that's why Facebook looked to change their name to Meta.
Yeah, because I mean, it's funny you mentioned that, Sam, because we're now participating in a virtual world, talking about virtual money.
Yep.
That's what we're doing here. It's really amazing because it's, and what baffles me, intellectually is just it's just how abstract it is. But then I know this is a contradiction in terms, but it's abstract. But then you could use it in to do practical things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I mean, it's.
I don't know if you all remember, there was this Canadian rapper, Tory Lanez, I'm not sure.
Tory
Lanez. Yeah, he sold his album as an NFT for $1, and in less than an hour, he sold over a million copies. In less than an hour, at $1 a piece, $1 for the album. However, that's done digitally. And he's claiming that if the people turn around and sell that particular thing back to someone for $2, then they actually made out better than him because you doubled your money.
But he'll still get something because it's coming from him initially. It's his thumbprint. So he'll still get a percentage once it changes hands.
Does that percentage come out of that particular buyer or the seller when the initial party makes money?
We'll need an expert to come and talk.
But somebody's losing something down the road in order for you, the initial person, to keep getting paid.
Yeah. So I think what it is the issue of once you can establish the ownership and you're part of the thumbprint going forward, then you have all these other thumbprints following as it changes hands. So I'm sure somewhere in there'll be some sort of a monies going back towards. It's not going to be as what it is, but it's going to pretty much be going back to the original thumbprint, you maintain your intellectual property as it keeps moving forward and it changes hands, which is even better than when you have a record and somebody could play a record and then bounce it on a tape, and then now they share the tape all around, and then the artists can't benefit from that because they're copying the intellectual property without the benefit going back to the artist. In this case, as it changes hands, the benefit is coming back to the artist one way or the other, without even
point.
Without even a middleman jumping in to say, all right, well, let's make sure that you are paying the royalty you need to pay to this person over here. Now it takes care of itself. And before we jump away at the chat, I don't know why we need to hear people in the chat. We need some more thumbs up on the YouTube page. So you all, people in the chat and viewers, get busy, please. And go ahead.
Yep, I've heard over time about different types of currency. We have what they call centralized and decentralized. And what you said just now brought up a very important question for me. How do these, should I call them cryptocurrency networks, make certain that someone doesn't spend this money, the same money, over and over again, this digital thing? Because right now I don't think it's at a speed where it's not at lightning speed right now in terms of transactions. How do they make certain that somebody doesn't spend that money over and over? I mean, they have right now no night watchman, no central authority guarding the bank, so to speak. How do they ensure that somebody don't keep spending that same money time again?
You have a limited amount of coins minted at any given time, right? And you cannot like I say, you cannot change it. You cannot just arbitrarily increase the supply of bitcoins. You can't do it. There's a limited amount of coins minted within any given time period.
Yeah, I understand that though, but I'm talking about your portion.
We could just say, okay, well, we're gonna sell some bonds and just generate a $500 billion. No, it can't. Don't work like that.
Why is there no limitation placed on the tokens though? You can literally do thousands of tokens in minutes, apparently. Why is there no limitation?
I guess it's just a different application. I mean, the tokens are limited to in terms of, they're limited to things like art and I guess music.
Oh, okay.
It's not really, well, it's a form of payment, yes, but it's not used for the same types of transactions as the standard crypto, because it even gets finer. Like, for example, Bitcoin and Ethereum, I think I pronounced it correctly for the first. Ethereum is actually better suited for certain types of transactions, according to the crypto experts, as opposed to Bitcoin. That's how specific it gets.
Okay.
And like I said, there's a limited amount that you could mine.
So I guess it's some form of regulation as you go. So you can't overprint or overmake or over because you'll exploit the market.
The number is finite, but then it's sort of like it's allotted, I guess, I think on an annual basis as to how many coins could be mined. But it's finite. It's controlled.
Karin mentioned earlier on about Ethereum. Could you give us a brief history about the creation of Ethereum? I mean, I know nothing more than the fact that it's some kid. I think he was still a teenager, a 19-year-old kid named Vitalik or something like that. Vitalik, something like that. Sorry, I didn't do the research on that before.
Yeah,
but
I didn't have the time to sort of dig into because I didn't know like how far we wanted to go. Because
okay, so what we're gonna do? Let's
like
table that
conversation altogether.
Let's table that. Let's table the NFTs and table the Ethereum. Say it for me, Karin.
Ethereum.
Ethereum. Yeah, put the tongue in. Yeah. I don't know why that's make it so difficult to pronounce, but I got to figure out. Like I said, right? There's certain types of transactions that are better suited for.
Yeah. So we're gonna table the NFTs, and we're gonna table the Ethereum. We're gonna table that for another finance conversation, and we come back and get a little more in depth into that, and hopefully by that time we are a little more versed and we able to do some homework. We're able to do some homework.
Bitcoin is actually much more universal. It's the most broadly used and the most universal.
Okay, so let me not talk about it. Tonight we mostly talk about Bitcoin, but like I said, I really hope that from our discussion tonight that it at least created some curiosity for those of us who didn't know, and for those who knew a little bit, that it would encourage us to go learn some more and dive into this thing a little more, wrap yourself into it, wrap it around you, because like I stated in the beginning, it ain't going nowhere. It ain't going nowhere. And let us not be standing on the sidelines wondering what happened in years to come. That we somehow, I remember when the internet, at the advent of the internet, I remember listening to WLIB in New York, listening to, what was his name? Tony Brown. Every day, come on the radio and talking about the internet is coming. He was like the tongue crier, riding the horse. The internet is coming. The internet is coming. Every day. I used to go back to the studio and talk to people. You all heard about the internet? No, what is that? You heard about the internet? Yeah, it's this thing, HTTP, www thing. They used to call out the whole address, right? And people knew nothing about it. I was there when they started talking about this thing. And then after it came, I just sit back and I say, all right, yeah, that's the young people thing. I ain't got nothing to do with that. And then by the time I woke up and my own daughter is the one that told me about YouTube. I knew nothing about YouTube. And she was like, Daddy, what do you mean you don't know about YouTube? And my kids started screaming at me because now I didn't know. So I stood on the sideline and I figured, oh yes, that's a young people thing. And they took off with it. And then I in turn had to turn around and ask them questions and ask them for information when I was at the beginning.
You know who first told me about non-fungible tokens? My 16-year-old son.
Wow.
He said, hey, Dad, you know what a non-fungible token is? Well, I know what fungible means, so I know what token means. He said, well, he gave me the scoop, because Ryan knows all this stuff, and he's very versed with the computer, and he's a math guy. He loves math.
Look who your father is.
So, that's an interesting thing you just brought up. The next time, Raymond, that we doing this conversation and this, I so much like to hear from the younger people in terms of where they are, and because they were born into this. We coming from the old system, like I talk about with a bank book and checking your balance, and anybody in the house could pick up your bank book and see how much money you have in the bank, right? All of us here could identify with that coming from that era. These younger folks know absolutely nothing about that. They are born into this system that we created, and now they're taking it, telling us to move out of the way, and they're running with it. So I would like to hear from him, if he would be so willing to come on the show the next time and tell us from a youth's perspective about this whole NFT thing and where he stands within that.
It'll take a lot of convincing. He's not as extroverted as his father.
Put him around the neck and put his face on the screen. Yeah. Put him on the screen right now.
Is he?
Lock his neck and put him on the screen. Ryan, I am speaking to you, sir.
Listen, the guy is 208 pounds. He plays basketball.
I am not concerned about what he looks like.
He put me in a headlock.
He'll put you in a headlock.
Okay, so give me a quiet for a second. Ryan? Mr. Ryan Richardson, I am calling upon you, sir. Could you please show your face on the screen and say good night to this esteemed panel?
Just say good night. Come.
He's shy.
Come.
Because if you see my face, you would have no problem showing yours.
Come. He's ready. Gone to his room.
You run gone.
Well, listen, if they're in terms of the sort of excuse me, the takeaways, right? Mm-hmm. Crypto is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. It's going to be running parallel to this fiat currency for a while until the systems sort themselves out and merge and morph into something else. So this ain't going any place. This absolutely ain't going any place. Generally speaking, I think the long-term prospects are good. I think they're positive, but you cannot put frightened money into crypto. You cannot put money into crypto that you anticipate using, that you may have to tap into or whatever. I say put some money in there, but be prudent. Understand, your own particular financial circumstances. Know what you could risk and what you can't risk. That's how you approach it. But you should be participating at some level. Whether indirectly or directly, whether you're doing it through an EFT or whatever, there are lots of vehicles out there that allows you to take advantage of this crypto situation. So, they're out there.
So the question I have to ask now, are they now taxing, is the government now taxing on your gains from cryptocurrency? We're saying that it's incognito.
No. They're working on ways to do that because, for example, if Biden gets his way, the IRS will be able to monitor everybody's account that's on this panel tonight, the whole country, and you'll have to account for any transaction exceeding $600 or above. That's in the works. That's in the works.
From the crypto thing?
Or even from Cash App?
From any source.
You'll have to explain where you get that from?
Yes. Right, you'll have to account for it, yes. But that's in the works right now. That's part of the Biden tax plan.
This is why even in Cash App,
IRS agents,
even in Cash App, it's stated there when you send that money, what's the purpose you're sending that money. So if I was to send you money, Sam, for you to purchase something that's only sold in Delaware and ship it to me, and that $700 shows up on your Cash App, and there's no reason why you got this money, you will now have to explain where did this $600 come from and why did you receive it.
Yeah, they're going to force the banks to give them that information because there are lots of people right now, right, that make money, however they make their money, and underreport their income, grossly underreport their income. And I could tell you that for a fact because as a small business analyst or whatever I do for a living now, I see bank statements of small businesses and individuals every single day. And sometimes it's a big transaction. So you say, hey guy, let me take a look at your tax return. And I'm saying, well, how come your top line was $11 million, right? and you found a way to give me taxable income of, you know, say 500K, and somehow you broke. I don't get it. You just lost me. You know? So,
no, but you see, on that level, I could understand the regulation, but
yeah, I understand that too, because there are people who grossly underreport their income.
But I mean, the average
person, the guy's bank statement, and he's telling the bank statement is showing me his top line is about $11 million, and then he tell the government he made $500,000. I said, dude, I mean, you know, there's something there right here.
Right. But what about the average person who maybe, because look, $600 in today's living, in your living life,
nothing.
$600 is, you know, I could understand, all right, if you have something that exceeds maybe 3,000 or 5,000, you know, maybe explain that. But
if it's recurring, you know, that's the issue. You know, if it's recurring, especially if you're, let's say you're a 1099 guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you work and people just ACH you the money, boom, 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 boom. It shows up in your account and the numbers are recurring and they kind of high. And you tell, when you tell the government you made 35,000, and if you look at the deposits coming into your account and exceeding say $600 for a whole year, you hit a total, you know, Sam, it's more like 200 grand you made this year, man. It ain't 35,000. Somebody ain't counting right.
You see, at the end of the day, the only thing Uncle Sam wants is his cut. That's it. Give Uncle Sam his cut, and you'll be clear.
Well, you know, this, I mean, I don't want to get into politics, but you know, Biden wants to spend a lot more money on social programs and equity-based programs
and crack pipes. And crack pipes. So, leave that alone for me, please.
So he you know, you got to find a way to pay for it. So you got.
I have never heard something.
You got
that decision or whatever it was to do something like that. That supersedes most of the dumb things his predecessor says. Karin forbids us to call his name. Biden's predecessor forbids us to call his name on the show. So that move by President Biden, this crack pipe situation, it supersedes anything that his predecessor ever said and done. That is like one of the most ridiculous, asinine things I've ever heard. But anyway, people, before we keep just running,
I agree. I mean, it's actually degrading to the demographic. I'll be politically correct. It's very degrading to the demographic that he supposedly supports and is trying to help and trying to bring into the mainstream, and you know,
very insulting.
All this social engineering.
Insulting. Karin, take us home.
Oh, just like that.
Just like that.
Yeah, we wrap it up.
I learned a lot. I learned a little bit before we came on, and I learned more from Raymond. Cryptocurrency is valuable because of what it can do. It allows us to lend, save amongst each other without the institutions that we've all grown accustomed to over the centuries, right? You don't have to do identity check. You don't have to get a credit score check, and you eliminate a middleman who always wants a percentage of what you have. I love it. I love the idea of it, but I know that it's very risky, and I know based on what we've learned here tonight that you have to be cautious. If you can't afford to lose it, don't put it in there. Don't invest it. If nothing else comes out of it, at least people need to hear that. You cannot invest what you cannot afford to lose.
Right, with crypto, that's absolutely 100% agreed.
The beauty so far, yes, it's public. Every company that's in the cryptocurrency network can see exactly what your balance is. You know, have access to your information if they're in the cryptocurrency network. But as with everything else in this, I'll say in this century, there are always companies that are trying to get ahead of the game, so to speak. One of the companies I read about, Monero cryptocurrency, that's not public. that's currently not traceable. And that's a huge thing. And I love the fact that we're constantly seeking a way to get away from the institutions that have kept us under their control and always have us owing them. I love that piece of it. So it's an interesting thing to learn about. And I thank you, Raymond, for coming on tonight. That's it.
Yeah, I was, Sam.
Yeah, Raymond, take us home.
Karin, it was delightful speaking to you guys. It was a lot of fun. Next time, I hope to be a little bit more informed. I got this on short notice. And it's obviously a broad topic. You could take one aspect of it and discuss it for an hour. And I think we did a fairly good sort of top-down look at what's going on. Right? But I'd urge you to go out there tomorrow, take a look at what's out there in terms of investment opportunities vis-a-vis crypto or anything aligned with crypto, whether it's a platform where you could buy and sell crypto, like whether it's Robinhood or Coinbase. And, there's some companies like, if you're interested in the companies that actually mine the data, there are several of them that you may want to take a look at.
Well, you mentioned Coinbase.
Yeah, again, I don't want to be here trying to.
Oh, yeah.
There's a company called Marathon. You want to see my list? I mean, this is I have an exhaustive list of investments here that I mess with.
Well, we will be doing another something next month. So we have some information we can list.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff I could run by you, and there's a whole lot of stuff here. Here is Coinbase. I don't know if could you guys see that in the camera?
Yeah, put it by the camera first, but we'll.
Yeah. You can take a look at it. See, the symbol is COIN. You could just, if you go on Yahoo Finance, it's free. Download the app. It's a lot there too. You punch in whatever symbol you want, look for what you want. You could track all the cryptos. Just go on Yahoo Finance. The app is free. Download it, easy. Look at it. You got more information that you could shake a stick at. So check it out. Curtis, check it out. I'm gonna test you the next time. Not kidding. Just kidding.
Oh, no. Please do. This is why we're here.
Yeah, seriously. Go on Yahoo Finance and do some digging.
Yes. We had to get.
It tells you the whole, whatever you need to know. It's all there.
Trini Girl said that
if
this
you guys want to give me a
conversation.
call, Sam has my number. You want to call me sometime? We could talk. No worries. I'm available. All right.
Trini Girl says that this conversation seems unfinished. I don't think this conversation can ever be finished. It can never finish. This is ongoing because even those that are in the know, information changes on a daily basis. So even if we know it all or believe that we know it all, we still need to continue learning, continue growing. So this conversation can never be over, especially for those of us who are just trying to learn. Cryptocurrency will be here to stay like smartphones. That's an interesting point. Imagine, as I stated in the beginning, she needs some information so that she can get started. As I stated in the beginning, we went all the way from cowrie shells to now digital code as currency. Blockchain as currency. So it shows how things and time change as we move on through life, move on through generations. If we pick up a rotary phone right now and give it to the average teenager, they would be lost. They would be lost. They will be confused. They don't even know how to use that gadget to dial someone. Furthermore, same thing, you put a computer with Windows 95, they can't do anything with that. It's outdated. It belongs in the Smithsonian someplace. So could you imagine, by the time our grandchildren have become, look back at this gadget here, smart today, a smartphone, they'll be like, Grandpa, how did you all ever survive on that piece of thing? That's dinosaur technology by the time our grandchildren become parents and grandparents. This, they will not be able to maneuver on this because it will be, she said, cowrie shells are still pretty. We were not talking about the beauty, darling. We're talking about its viability in society. How much you willing to pay me for these? I got them by the bag. Talk to me. Talk to me. Talk to me. I got them by the bag. Come on. $20, 20. Okay, I get them for 20, 25 right now. Pop, it ain't worth anything today. Oh, they say Karin got some in her earrings right now.
Wait, also the chat waking up, or is what going on? The chat.
No. They were listening. That's the whole point.
Oh, they were listening. Oh, that's what was going on. Okay.
Yeah,
so
they were paying attention. She said, "How much are the earrings, Carol?" Answer her. You don't have to put that in secret. Let everybody know.
These
Karin?
are 20. These are 20. I'm sorry, I had myself muted. These are 20.
She said, "If I smile really nice, you should just give them to me." You know what's the funny part? Is that the only thing we see in here right now is your avatar. So we don't know how you smile, whether it's crooked or you're missing 2 front teeth. We have no idea. Trini girl, we have no idea if you're missing teeth or if you laugh too hard. If like Super Blue, they would just fly out your mouth and you catch them back and put them back in. We have no idea. So the smile can't really go far on this show here right now. And Derek D'Souza asks whether or not I'm paying with dollar bills. I didn't say I'm buying anything, sir. I'm willing to do some transaction, but no, I'm taking my payment in Bitcoin. Anybody?
Well,
Bitcoin.
by the way, you know, the mayor of New York City, he took his first paycheck in Bitcoin.
In Bitcoin. I also heard that.
I don't know if you're aware of that. Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Adams.
Some of the Super Bowl winners asked for their Bitcoin, their bonus checks in Bitcoin. So let me show this again one more time. This here is a $2 bill from the Confederate States, of America. A $2 bill. Right now, this year is worth about $75 as a collector's item. But no one in the store would take anything, not even a bag of chips, for this right now. So it's practically useless on the market. And one day, that green piece of paper you're holding up there,
that
use it will be worthless.
Yeah, use this one for now, though.
That will become worthless. So Sam, take us home.
Take everybody home. So, you know, when they make a poison, they make an antidote. So they make new situations. I am very sure the criminals are sitting down figuring out how they could work it out. I mean, and the criminals are bright. So I will say that the person making the new technology is criminals because they don't know how to crack their own business. That is how we had to start thinking in this life. And I'm good. But, you know, the other day I was digging up, and the same way how you hold up that $2 bill there from the Confederate money there. I saw some old tokens for New York City subway. With the
Y hollowed out in the middle, right?
With the Y. Yeah. And I said, wait, boy, I want we can't use these tokens again. It's a wrap. But it's collector's item. So we have to
30 cents.
Yeah, man.
When I first came to America, it was 30 cents for those tokens with the hollowed out Y.
Yeah, I remember visiting. I was still living in. You're muted, Curtis. I was still living in Tobago. We came up in the 80s, and while we were here, there was big news. The tokens was about 70 cents. It was going up to 75 cents. They said, okay, so tokens are going up to 75 cents, and all
big deal.
All the mature people in the room made a noise. Like, what? 75 cents? Oh my God, why is this thing getting so expensive? I mean, like, really, people was was like in pain for 5 cents. I said, well, you know, if them people here when he took it, wait to jump on the train ride, where he going?
No, I ain't going nowhere talking, man.
You going to look for your tokens?
No.
If those people wake up and find out how much you're paying for a bus ride and a train ride right now, how much it is now in New York? For $3? It move up. I think Reggie should know. Reggie,
you're something for like $275 or something. I don't know.
Somebody says your rent.
Is it rent? So you know, remember we had a thing called dollar van. We can't even call it dollar van again. What are you calling it? Crypto van?
Used to be a dollar cab. It used to be back in the day in Brooklyn, right?
Yeah, man.
Like I would take the train to Nostrand and Church Avenue, right? And the 35 bus used to be loaded with people. You want to go get home? It's cold, and those dollar cabs would pull up, man. 5 people jump in, $1 a person. And they'll you say, okay, leave me on, you know, whatever, 47th Street or whatever. Boom, 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 up Church Avenue. Used to be $1 per head.
Yeah.
And I remember sometimes the cops used to chase the dollar cab guys. I couldn't, on 2 or 3 occasions, I was in a dollar cab and the cops were chasing us.
Raymond.
Yeah.
I am one of the original dollar van drivers from Brooklyn. Not dollar cab. When everybody was driving cab, I was driving a van. Before vans became popular. Original dollar van driver right here.
So you were like that with 81, 82? Church, Flatbush?
I was running Flatbush. I was running Church. I was running Utica, depending on wherever the money is right now.
Number 3, number 2 train up and down. Yeah.
If I come down Flatbush and I happen to reach Church Avenue and I'm empty, and I see a crowd of people by the bus stop, stand up there by Sybil's, I make a right and I pick them up and I go on Church Avenue.
Right,
if I empty everybody before I reach Utica, I look at each side and I do so, I go on Kings Plaza or I back down towards Eastern Parkway. I just used to be up and down the place, running dollar van.
You know there was a Citibank on the corner, Church and Flatbush here.
Yes, it's still there. I think it's still there as far as I know.
What's the 47? I forgot the bus now. I used to run on
35.
46, 35 and 46.
35 and 41. 41 on Flatbush.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm finished. Take me home.
All right. Well, it's been beautiful. Let me see if we have any more comments. Derek did say that 40 cents for a slice of pizza and 50 cents for a Subway token. So I think the price of the token and the slice of pizza, there's a relationship. There's a relationship between
the two.
But we want to thank everyone. Please help the show grow. Please share. The information. Just share the link. Share it to one person. Share it to 2 people. Hit the thumbs up button. Those of you who are viewing on YouTube, hit the thumbs up on Facebook. Help us get the show bubbling. Thank you all. And Curtis, I guess you send the last couple of things here.
Okay, I want you to put a little highlight on Derek. 2 comments before the pizza comment.
The one he said before, this one here,
the dollar bill man, and what he said before that. Am I paying in dollar bills? No, there's an interesting story with those comments there. I have this habit, it's a pet peeve of mine. Whenever I get a new dollar bill that's brand new in any transaction, I don't like to crease it up. So I would hold on to that dollar bill if it's brand new. And you saying, wow, Sam, you were there in the studio.
Yeah.
There was one time I went by 100. I went by 100 studio to bill a tune, and that was actually my Calypso Pressure. And I had musicians, background singers, everybody inside of there, and everybody looking to get paid. And I did pay everybody on the spot once we finished the recording. Even 100 got his studio fee. But guess what? Everybody got paid in dollar bills. I had everybody money put aside in an envelope. I would have handed it to them. Some people wanted to say, where's this? I said, that's your money. You say, oh gosh, man, the man pay me in dollar bill. I say, yeah, it add up. Because I have this habit, as I stated, with $1 bills. Once they're brand new, I hold on to them. It's just a pet peeve of mine. I don't crease them, and I detest spending them. I bought 2 cars ever since I started doing this in the 90s, or for saving dollar bills. 2 vehicles I've purchased with single dollars. So I've said all of that to say it is a system that works for me. So what we have to do is find a system that works for us. You all remember this thing called Susu?
Yeah,
Jamaicans call it partner. It's a rotating savings, you know, our own personal credit association. It's a type of informal savings between a small group of people, 5, 6, 10. We say, you know what? We throw in a hand. You want a hand in the Susu? Somebody say, yeah, boy, give me 2 hands. And you put your money, we do this in the Caribbean, but this thing started in Africa. I think Nigeria, to be specific. Susu. And that was an informal savings for us growing up. We older folks do it, but somehow we're not trusting enough nowadays to do that. So I'm saying whatever system works for you, whether it's saving new dollar bills, saving $5 bills, saving $2 bills, whatever works for you, work that. Throw a hand or 2 in a Susu. Maybe the people within the household, that family, throw Susu and take that money and buy into cryptocurrency. Whatever it is. It may be hard coming up with that $1,000, $5,000 or whatever it is out of your paycheck to go invest into crypto. But if we do it strategically with whatever system works for you and buy into cryptocurrency, they said the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is today. Don't sit down and wait for you younger folks and then 20 years from now you say, you know, I really wish I had listened to Sam and them fellas and them the night. Where Sam and Rastaman, I forget the name. Yeah, I wish I had listened to them fellas when they was talking about this Bitcoin thing, because now the whole world fall apart, all the monetary systems crash, and everybody talking about digital currency, and I locked out. And you have to depend on your children to do everything. Don't sit back and wait. Everybody need more than the basic salary to survive or to feel safe in this world. Because, you know, I say it, one stream of income is too close to none. One is too close to 0. So the best thing to do with your money, but remember what Raymond said, not money that you will be needing tomorrow to make purchases. Only invest what you could afford to lose. The best thing to do with that extra money is invest it. Invest some portion of it. Save some portion of it on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, on a bi-weekly basis, depending on how your currency comes in. Get that money, invest it, find out more about it. Not be just what we said tonight. Find out some more about this cryptocurrency thing. Find out some more about these NFTs, whatever it might be, especially you younger folks. Find out more and get yourself involved in the process now, because 20 years from now, it would have already sunken its fangs, its talons into society. And by then, it's not going to be as easy as it is now. So get into it while it's available, while it's still young, while it's still new. Remember, these Bitcoins started at what price, Raymond?
What, $1,500? I'm talking about 5 years ago, 5, 6, yeah.
No, when it started, it was way before that. We're going back to 2013.
It was a lot more than that, yeah. When I was first introduced to it, Bitcoin was somewhere around $1,500, yes.
Okay, that's 5 years ago.
Not a long time ago at all.
So imagine 5 years before that. Oh, it wasn't quite so long ago, but let's say 5, 7, 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And there are people still sitting on the sidelines.
I think it's like 2011 is when I believe somewhere around there, yeah.
People still sitting on the sidelines from then till now watching. The price ain't going down, people. It's going to fluctuate in the market, but it will never go back to where it was before. The system, the monetary system, it will never go back to what it was before. We're now talking digital currency. Get yourself on board. get yourself involved, because right now everybody making up their own coin. Like I said, it have Dogecoin, Bitcoin, shitcoin, all different kind of coin. Here's my idea. Rasta coin, people. All right, that was just to end the show on a little positive note. So by the time I launch my coin, Raymond, I'll be calling you for some advice on how we're gonna do this thing.
Yeah. We make it work, man.
All right. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you all for joining us. Peace and blessings. Good night.
Pleasure. Feel free, man. Reach out. Sam, thanks a lot.
Bless, man. Bless.
Appreciate it.
Peace.
Curtis, Karin, much
Peace.
success.
Good night.
Press on. Bye now.
Hi, I'm Dr. Judith Barnes. I'm an author, a playwright, poet. I'm also a broadcaster by training, and I recently found out about 2 years ago that I can paint paintings, which means I paint sceneries, I paint landscape, I paint animals. I have just discovered, and so that I can do this. And so along with all the other gifts and talents that I've been blessed with, I have paintings, and they are on view and for sale on Etsy and also on Facebook. And if you desire to order any painting or order one of my books, because I'm also an author, please give me a call at 470-564-8267. That's Dr. Judith, and the number again, whether you want to just talk to me or order one of my paintings or one of my books, please feel free to call 470-564-8267. Thank you.
Hello there and welcome. My name is Curtis Henry. Over the past few weeks, as we were putting the final pieces together to get the show on the road, some people asked, why do you need to showcase Caribbean people? Why Caribbean Chatt? And I say, why not? Because we as Caribbean people have worked too hard, come too far, and suffered too long for us to continue taking a backseat. It's time for us to rise up, speak out, and show the world the value and the richness of our culture. So I'm providing a platform to showcase the history and culture of Caribbean people in entertainment, the arts, politics, sports, and economics. We will explore the many profound contributions they have made to society. So we invite you to stay with us as we launch what is to become one of the greatest voices of Caribbean people, for Caribbean people, by Caribbean people. On this platform, Caribbean people of excellence get to tell their story. Our aim is to ensure that your contributions are acknowledged and celebrated. Welcome to Caribbean Chatt. So make sure you like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and be sure to hit that subscribe button on YouTube. We are Caribbean Chatt.